Few names from ancient Egypt are as famous today as Tutankhamun, yet few kings exercised so little personal power during their lifetime. Tutankhamun ruled Egypt for only about 9 years, from around 1332 to 1323 BC, during the Atenist dynasty. He became king as a young child, at a time when Egypt was recovering from one of the most dramatic religious changes in its history, the religious revolution of his predecessor, Akhenaten. Tutankhamun is not remembered for great military victories or a long reign. Instead, his importance comes from his role in restoring traditional Egyptian religion, rebuilding the worship of the old gods after the Aten cult, and symbolizing Egypt's return to stability. Because of this, his reign had lasting historical consequences, even though it was short. The good god, Lord of the Two Lands, Nebechberu Ra. Tutankhamun did not change history by force. He changed it by undoing a revolution. Egypt after Amarna, a kingdom in crisis. Tutankhamun inherited a kingdom deeply shaken by the reign of Akhenaten, who had abandoned traditional gods in favor of the Aten. The Amarna reforms resulted in closure of temples, loss of priestly income, administrative disruption, diplomatic neglect abroad. The cults were neglected and the gods turned their backs. By the time Tutankhamun ascended the throne, Egypt was politically fragile and religiously divided. The boy king and his advisors.
Tutankhamun became king at around 8 or 9 years old. Real power was exercised by I, a senior court official, and Horemheb, commander of the army. Tutankhamun ruled, but others governed. Tutankhamun was likely the son of Akhenaten based on DNA analysis, though his mother remains uncertain.
From Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun. One of the most important acts of Tutankhamun's reign was a change of name. Originally crowned Tutankhaten, living image of the Aten, he later became Tutankhamun, living image of Amun. This signaled a decisive break from Amarna theology. The temples of the gods were fallen into ruin. His Majesty restored them. The royal court returned from Akhenaten to Memphis and Thebes, recentering Egypt around traditional cults. The restoration STELA and religious policy.
The restoration stela of Tutankhamun is one of the most important documents of the late 18th dynasty. It declares the reopening of temples, the return of priesthoods, the restoration of divine images. Every god and goddess rejoiced when they saw their temples restored. While often attributed personally to Tutankhamun, scholars agree the policy was likely directed by I and the Amun priesthood. Nevertheless, the king became the symbol of reconciliation between gods and state.
Foreign affairs and military context. Egypt's empire had weakened during Akhenaten's reign. There is limited evidence of military campaigns, diplomatic recovery. Scenes on Tutankhamun's painted chest depict the king smiting enemies, but these are largely traditional symbolic motifs, not historical records. Tutankhamun's reign marks recovery, not expansion. Art, burial, and royal image.
Tutankhamun's reign marks a transition in art, from Amarna naturalism back to classical idealism. Yet traces of Amarna style remain, especially in facial features. His tomb goods emphasize divine rebirth, solar and Osirian symbolism, and eternal kingship. This ideological blending reflects Egypt's attempts to heal from religious trauma.
Death at a young age.
Tutankhamun died around the age of 18 or 19. Medical studies reveal a broken leg, malaria infection, congenital health issues. Tutankhamun was physically fragile. There is no convincing evidence of murder, despite popular theories. His sudden death likely caused political instability.
The tomb that changed history. Tutankhamun's greatest importance comes after his death, not during his reign. In 1922, the British archaeologist Howard Carter discovered Tutankhamun's tomb, known as KV62, in the Valley of the Kings. Unlike other royal tombs, which had been looted in antiquity, this tomb was found almost completely intact. When Carter first looked inside, he famously wrote, "Wonderful things," a reaction that captured the significance of the discovery. The tomb contained more than 5,000 objects, including the now famous golden funerary mask, richly decorated coffins, jewelry, chariots, furniture, and ritual items. For the first time, scholars were able to see a nearly complete royal burial as it was prepared for an Egyptian king. This discovery gave archaeologists unprecedented insight into royal burial practices, beliefs about the afterlife, and the material wealth of the new kingdom. It also transformed modern Egyptology and sparked worldwide fascination with ancient Egypt, making Tutankhamun one of the most famous pharaohs in history. Tutankhamun's legacy.
Tutankhamun was a minor king in life, a monumental figure in death. He restored tradition, even if guided by others. He symbolizes the end of the Amarna experiment. Tutankhamun became immortal not through power, but through preservation. His reign reminds us that history is shaped not only by great rulers, but by critical moments.
Tutankhamun did not build empires, he rebuilt balance. In restoring the gods, he restored Egypt itself. He was not a great king by achievement, but he became one by destiny.